Hi everyone, welcome back to the Tool Monster channel. We've got a really special guest here today. We've got Tony.
I wouldn't say that.
A good friend of mine. No, you are, pal.
Thanks for having me.
Great to have you here. So really just want to give everyone a quick introduction about yourself, what company you're from, just a quick sort of background.
Yeah, I'm Tony. I'm the MD at Velocity Progear. We started back in 2014 doing OEM products for companies like Travis Perkins, BSS, Arco Safety up in Hull. Yeah, so going from there into premium tool stuff.
Pretty much exploded, huh?
Yeah, it's going really, really well. Working with a lot of different influencers and tradesmen. They give us ideas and we like to work closely with tradespeople. We've still got 2 directors on the tools as well, so yeah, going really well. Going really well.
A very hands-on company, aren't you?
We are. We get involved with all the trades, get them involved, see what products or different changes they want to the bags that we've already got or new ideas. So,
I think anyone who has spoken to you in person is very you're very personable.
That's very kind of you, Adam. I try to be.
Off camera,
yeah, it'll be different off camera. I think
honestly,
we're just working class guys.
Yeah.
That have. I used to be a carpenter many moons ago. Some people would maybe call me a wood butcher, but yeah, like I said, 2 of the other directors are still on the tools, so we get a lot of influence from those guys as well.
I think that's great when you're actually able to. It's not just a salesman selling a bag. You're this actually works this way.
Yeah,
this is the best way to do it. Even with your collaborating with PB and stuff, you're able to see how a bag actually operates and tools you can put in.
100%, 100%. So obviously we know how things are made by the factory. Yeah. So me and Pete or Nick, we've just done a bag with recently, but mainly Pete at the moment. We've done about 5 or 6 bags, I think, now with Pete. So he'll have an idea. We'll put our heads together. He'll do although he said it himself, like a child sketch. But I understand it, and then we'll get a first sample working off that, look at it, how it works, give it to the couple of directors or friends of ours that are still in the trade to use it, come back with the pros and cons of it and work off it that way. Pete will look at it, I'll look at it, and then it evolves into maybe 4 or 5 samples and then the final production.
It's so interesting to see, because as a tradesman I'd never ever even understood how you come up with the idea of a bag and how, but going to your place and seeing the process of it and actually going, this is how we've got to take the drawing, the prototype.
Yeah, for sure.
Really cool.
For sure. I mean, even guys that I've met through Instagram, and we've got lots of friends on Instagram now. I won't name them all because there's too many to mention, but there's a few that come up and see us and get involved and show us how things could work or change, and it's really helpful, and they've become really good friends. So it's really good.
So Tony, I'm going to ask you something.
Yeah.
Let me know your funniest story you've ever had in work.
It's difficult, really, because I've not been on the tools for many years now. So
a few years.
Quite a few years. All right, Adam. So I would probably say most of those funny stories evolved from doing the travelling. We go to our factories over in the Far East. Got quite a few stories. A few we've already said I can't probably say on camera, but that may be for over a couple of pints later. One of the stories was I was invited to a meal with one of the factories, and the guy who run the factory, it was his father's birthday. It was his 85th birthday. This was over in the Far East, like I mentioned, and they're all sitting around the round table, and they're all drinking rice wine, and they're all pointing a finger at me, laughing, saying he can't drink, he's English, he's going to struggle. So I'm sitting there.
English can't.
Well, yeah, well, I'm part Celt anyway. You've seen me sink a few pints in the past, so I'm drinking the rice wine, having a bit of fun and whatever, and bless him, the old fella, he's trying to keep up with me, and about 5 minutes before we leave, he looks absolutely battered. He gets off his chair, walks out the room and stumbles down the steps, and we're all everyone's rushing to grab him from falling over, bless him, he was an old fella, but he was laughing about it, but and I'm standing there brand new, so that's about as clean as I can keep it, to be honest, but that's one of the funny stories, but there's loads of different
Picking on the elderly, really?
Well, most people, well, you're picking on me now, I'm getting on a bit, so that's how it goes, but
No, brilliant. Well, Tony, could you tell us, if you go back in time, to
Yeah.
your younger self, you're just starting out in your career,
Yeah.
what do you wish you could tell yourself back then?
It's a difficult question. I would probably say maybe a bit more belief, but it was different back in the day because back in the day there was no internet. You know, it's very different.
So much opportunity
Yeah,
now. Like,
it was
guys
very
who-
different. And when opportunities arose, then I'd say I was around, excuse me, around 25 when the internet started. You know, dial up and stuff. It changed. It just the whole thing changed for everybody in terms of getting out there, getting over to the Far East, talking to different companies. You know, before it was telephone and
we live in here, like in Thomas, like we're in Belfast here, and we were speaking to people all over the EU and America, Canada, and everywhere. Like it's class.
It's great. I mean, so to answer your question, it's quite difficult really because there's not a lot I could have changed at that time. It's just I'm where I am now as a result of what's happened previously. Do you get what I mean? I mean, there's lots of things that I could probably change. Personally, to a certain degree, but work-wise, it's evolved into this. Do you see what I mean? I was a carpenter, and then I owned an opticians with a fella. And that's how we got into the sort of safety business. A guy came in from Camira Safety, which was part of Scott Health and Safety, and he bought a breathing apparatus in.
Right. Okay.
And it was for the guys that worked at Sellafield, and he wanted us to put the spectacle inserts in, so we had to make the prescription spectacles for it. And like I said, that was just around the time that dial-up came, the internet started to explode. So we then got on it and thought there's some legs in this, and then we got ourselves over to the Far East after a few emails and back and forth, and that's how we got into the safety industry.
It's just like having the guts to just go on do it. Like,
it was. It was a secondary kind of business for us beyond the opticians. We had a Specsavers and then a Kodak centre, but obviously this was a separate side of it, and that kind of exploded from there. And my business partner kept the opticians, and I took the safety side, and then I got involved with Arco, who's now probably the biggest safety company in the UK up in Hull. And that turn over about 450 million a year, maybe more now. And it kind of just spiraled from there, really.
Nice.
Yeah.
Class. Really interesting.
It was good. Yeah, it was good.
So, like, what sort of advice would you give to somebody starting out as an apprentice in the trade?
Again, I would say, take on as much information as you possibly can. I mean, you've got to enjoy what you're doing. If you're a plumber, a sparks, a chippy, HVAC, whatever you are, you've got to enjoy what you're doing. But you've got to soak up all that information and work with experienced tradespeople. You can't do anything better than that. You've got to work with people that are experienced and learn off them as much as you can. Like I say, soak up all that information. And two, give Tom Monster a call and get a 12% discount.
We don't do discounts. No.
We do discounts.
We'll
edit that.
Square away that. Right, Tony, if you could give one piece of business advice, even to somebody who's been businessman for years, or someone who, a girl who's just starting out their own business, just one bit of advice, what would you say?
You've got to believe in what you're doing. You've got to believe in what you're doing. You've got to enjoy it.
40% of your life should work.
Yeah, and
you've got to love it.
And it's the old adage: you've got to work hard. There's no shortcuts. You've got to put the time and the effort in. It depends where you. I mean, if you're happy doing a 30, 40 hour week, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you want to get to the next level, you've got to put them hours in. You know yourself. You work.
Yeah, like any experience that you're especially at the start, you're smashing it. Like you're doing.
Of course.
You just got, and if you love it, it's so much easier, and you actually enjoy going. Like
100%.
I personally enjoy going.
100%. You've got to put the hours in. You've got to like it. You've got to enjoy the job that you're doing. But you've also, on the flip side of it, don't push it till you're worn out. You've got to give yourself a bit of time off. Of course you have. But and also you adapt to change where necessary. Everything's evolving so quick nowadays. Internet, social media. There's lots of guys I know that start up that have got no social media accounts. Now I'm not saying that you have to have a social media account, but it helps because a lot of the
go back to the point where the internet now is so huge. You can
of course you can.
The opportunity with that.
Yeah, of course. If you're growing your business, you've got to be out there. The customers now are looking on social media to find people, looking at people's work via social media. Even if you're not particularly keen on it, you don't have to be. You don't have to do all singing, all dancing. But you've got to put yourself out there, hard work, like I say, and adapt to change where necessary, wherever you need to do that. And,
Well, Tony, thanks very much for coming on board.
Thanks for having me.
Thank
mate.
you.
Cheers.
And thanks everyone very much for coming, and we'll see you again. And don't forget to click subscribe at the bottom. See you later.
Cheers.